Hello. It's Sunday, 12th of October 2014, and just gonna got some stuff to talk about tonight, which is I've called it Devotional Systems Theory and Practice. So it's a summary of various paths prescribed by acharyas in Vaishnavism, yoga, and integral theory. So yeah, I'm just going to start by doing a kirtan to Krishna, to Radha Krishna, and then we'll get into it. So. Okay, hopefully the sound was alright for that. So yeah, starting with we'll do a reading from Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is like the essential text for devotional service in Vaishnavism, and it's sort of got all the main teachings of Krishna. So this was just a chapter that I read today that kind of seemed relevant to what I was thinking of making a video about. So I thought I'd read from it. It's Krishna kind of describing different paths to attaining the Supreme, and sort of the different ways that people do that, and the idea that there's a variety of different paths that people follow. So, so this is where I'll start. All of them, as they surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. This is Krishna talking. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. According to the three modes of material nature and the work ascribed to them, the four divisions of human society were created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding, and so attained liberation. Therefore, as the ancients, you should perform your duty in this divine consciousness. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all sins. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every act is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker whose fruitive action is burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever sanctioned and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. So I've got a picture of Krishna and Radha up here, and that's on the altar as well. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. But actually a little bit further on, here there's some descriptions of different paths. So you got a person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them, and some of them offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. Some of them sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of the controlled mind, and others sacrifice the objects of the senses, such as sound, in the fire of sacrifice. Those who are interested in self-realization in terms of mind and sense control offer the functions of all the senses, as well as the vital force, breath, as oblations into the fire of the controlled mind. There are others who, enlightened by sacrificing their material possessions and severe austerities, take strict vows and practice the yoga of eightfold mysticism, and others study the Vedas of the advancement of transcendental knowledge. So, the path of eightfold mysticism may be Patanjali's eightfold limbs of yoga, but I'm going to be talking about the eightfold path in Patanjali's system. But that's a reading from there, and so just going to just just lighting this key lamp. And I'm going to be talking about deity worship later. I'm not sure if this is going to light. Yeah, there it goes. So yeah, so starting with the four regulative principles as prescribed by Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. So he's the author of this book. Well, he's not the author, he's the translator, and he does the commentary on this version of Bhagavad Gita as it is. And here's a picture of him in here. Actually, there's not a picture of him in here. So this is Prabhupada. So also lit some incense, which is just here. So some incense. Yeah, so in relation to the four regulative principles, which are you've got no so we're talking about restricting the use of in terms of, or restraining from completely, intoxicants, gambling, illicit sex, and meat eating. So what I'm talking about is what are like related aspects to that related aspects to those four regulative principles. So you've got the four regs down this side, and then on the correlation to that, you've got these different things like if you can read it, you've got austerity. Yeah. So austerity, truthfulness, cleanliness, and compassion. So what that means, how the saying goes, is how can there be austerity without where there are intoxicants? And how can there be truthfulness where there is gambling? And how can there be cleanliness where there is illicit sex? And how can there be compassion where there is meat eating? So the idea is that on one hand you're yeah, so anyway, that's how the saying goes. Um, and then you've got chanting rounds, which is like prescribed in by Prabhupada is to chant 16 rounds. That's a kind of standard amount, but that sort of adds up to being about 2 hours meditation a day, in which you could do in say 2 sections of an hour, or just every now and then through the day, or how you're doing it. So that's normally with these beads. So you've got the beads that you count them on, which is there's 108 beads on the whole mala. This is called a mala, a japa mala, and then japa means repetition of the names. So for the Maha Mantra, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then you would move on to the next bead, and you go around the beads, chanting the mantra, and then when you get to the end, you turn around and go back. But I've already made a video on chanting. But so that's with your chanting, which is mentioned in sort of in yoga and in yoga per se, like Patanjali's yoga or Ashtanga yoga, but normally they do a small amount of japa and then a lot of dhyan, or whereas in Vaishnavism you're doing a lot of chanting. So japa is the main practice, which is a second person meditation. So you've got your first, second and third person meditation, and personal meditation is second person. In other words, God is separate. God is God, and we're who we are. We're jivas. God is the supreme everything, and we're parts of Him. And parts of Him or her, and there's 3 energies. There's the spiritual energy, the marginal energy, and then there is the material energy. There's Maya, which is illusion. So there's those 3 energies. But of that, the complete whole is Krishna or Radha. So the idea is that the absolute truth is a person, and so talking about the eightfold system in Patanjali's system, you've got yama, which is like your kind of moral codes and ethics, and that relates to knowledge, which I'm going to talk about. And then you've got niyama, which is like a kind of restraint or abstinence from other things, which is where your 4 regulative principles come in. So you've got that's where you've got austerity, truthfulness, cleanliness, and compassion. And so that's the limb that you're concerned with. Then you've got asana, which is your physical stretches of the body and stuff. And then you've got pranayama or pratyahara, which is sense control. Like one sense control one that you can do is like a kind of thing like where you go like this, and you cover the nostrils and the ears, and you can go inside there and hum and inside that space. So that's working on going inside the senses, and then although I think that can be done after pranayama. So you've got pranayama, which is your breath control and stuff, and in breathing you've got like alom vilom, which is like a kind of one where your stomach goes in like that, and you're circulating energy in your system. You can breathe into the chest and do full breaths, and like that one there where you breathe through each nostril. But they're all designed to circulate the energy in the body. You can do other ones where, like, say you ground your energy into the earth or something like that, where you would take your energy and then put it down through into the earth, or another one where you could visualize, look at a nice scene and then visualize energy in your stomach or something like that. There's a relationship between the stomach and like the it. So you've got relationships between the pranic body that you can work on, and that relates to what I'm talking about later as well. But so that's pranayama of the 8 limbs. And then you've got dharana, which is when you're really working on your concentration. So with chanting, you're focusing on the sound, or you're visualizing the Lord in person, and you're focusing your concentration on the form. And dharana develops into jhana, develops into a form of meditation, and then it develops into samadhi, which in Vaishnavism is called natural samadhi, or I'm still not sure whether there's a state samadhi and then a stage samadhi, because there seems to be a stage samadhi that happens in the course of your spiritual life, and then maybe there's also like state samadhi, which would be going into that state where you they say sometimes you forget your name or something, or you come back after 3 days or something like that. So so that's samadhi, but also in the 8 limb system you can talk about spontaneous being a kind of culmination of the path, or it's one of those aspects where you get to a point in the practice where you've got practice, and then you've got the spontaneity of once the energy has taken over, and then you can just do those things from the spiritual source. So so that's so that's the 4 regulative principles of Vaishnavism, or devotional service as prescribed by Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, and then the 8-limbed yoga system, which is given by Patanjali, the great yoga teacher of ancient India. And so that's we'll take a break now, and then carry on the discussion. So you can either watch the next video another time, or if you want to bail out, then you can do that. But I'll stop the video and have a break and then come back again. So I hope you've enjoyed this time. I'll just finish with one more kirtan, and then